coverage of the 2012 Team Masters Grand Championships. Brought to you by Ebonite. Bowl to win. For more information, visit www.ebonite.com, and by Dexter. Also by Kegel, official lane maintenance program for the Team Masters. Also joining us on our big worldwide webcast today is a member of Team USA. She's with our sideline reporting crew. It's Elise Bolton. Go, Elise.
Jacob, and just give him a chance, him and Greg in the championship. What are your thoughts going into this match?
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I had to have Aaron win earlier to stay in it, but if I win this match, it'll be a three-way tie between Jacob, Aaron, and Greg. So I'm just going to go out there, try to win, get the extra $1,000.
Now, your last two matches you picked short, and this match you picked long. What are your reasons for that?
I was going to try something different because obviously it wasn't working on short. So hopefully this will be better.
All right, here we go with our last qualifying boys match of the day.
Thanks, Elise. Good stuff from lane side. We got an insight into Kamron thinking about this matchup, and also a switch in lane strategy with picking the long pattern. Mike J. lane side with PBA Tour champion Brian Zeisig, the bowling guy Jason Thomas. As we are three wide, we're like NASCAR coming at you live here from Grand Central Terminal. Kamron Doyle versus Jacob Ettinger to decide part of the story for the Grand Championships a little bit later, and we're off. That makes a pretty sound in this building, Brian.
Makes me wonder why he didn't pick longer for the other two matches after that first shot.
Well, he was kind of scratching his head on that same decision, and well, it just plays into bowling decisions. It's very, very interesting. You think about it one way. In your head, it plays out one way. To someone else, to the other observer, they're saying, well, why did he do that? And it's part of the great conversation of our sport.
Hindsight's always 20/20. I mean, it's easy to say, well, you know, now he should have picked the longer patterns. But going in, I'm sure he had a good game plan going in, just didn't get a couple breaks. I know he lost a roll-off, so stuff like that happens.
Originally, this is kind of interesting, he had originally picked the long pattern to bowl against Juratovic in the opening match, and they practiced on it, and he decided he didn't like it, so he changed to the short pattern. And what was interesting was he went to the short pattern to play more defense, and it ended up, you know, not working out because after one game, Juratovic's reaction changed very favorably, and he started with the front five.
Not gonna get there. A little off balance at the line there. It's hard to be in Kamron's shoes here. I mean, it can go one of two ways. You can just be completely loose. There's, you know, not much really to bowl for here. Or you could go the other way to where if things start going south, it's kind of like playing a team in any other sport that's, you know, may not be in the playoff race and stuff like that. A lot of times you have to jump on them early. You want to jump on them early, get them a little bit disheartened to where, you know, maybe they're just looking to get out of there. If Kamron could get out to a one-game lead, now all of a sudden, you know, he's got a little competitive juices flowing. It can make for a very interesting second game. Good shot there for the Waller 7. Conversion here, and Joe will have a quick 14-pin lead. As you see, we're getting more and more people packed in behind the lane setup. see, I believe, behind the pairs, you see two very interested in observers. Aaron Uratovich and Greg Young back there. Just hanging around waiting to see if they're going to have to bowl a 3-person, 1-game roll-off to decide the two boys. That will bowl at 2 o'clock for the boys' championships. ETA of 2 o'clock, of course.
See, the boys just have that little bit extra ball speed, a little bit extra rev rate that they're able to pop the 6-pin out of the flat gutter and it gets the 10, versus the girls who tend to leave it more often than not.
Yeah, slower ball speed, lower rev rates. Kamron's high rev rate knocks the 7 over there on that light swisher. Again, another one of those wall hits that in your local center in a regular setting may see that head pin come flying across the lane, take out the 10 as a messenger. Weaker side balls, weaker side walls, deeper flat gutters. Head pin just doesn't quite make it across the lane. You end up with a shaker 10. Good cover there. Kamron right now 4 pins down, but has the ball going into the 5th. Must-win match here for Jacob if he wants to stay alive. Doyle trying to, Kamron trying to be the roller spoiler. Another great shot there. Triple and a 6-pin lead right now for Kamron Doyle.
Yeah, you know Kamron is so competitive. He does not want to get shut out in this tournament. And like he said, he has an extra $1,000 worth of scholarship money that he'll earn if he can win this match.
There from Jacob. He's thrown 5 good shots, just hasn't really gotten the break on the even lane.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
If
he could just figure out that lane, he'd have the front 5.
Amazing how that works, even in single lane configuration. Opening game of a 2-game tilt between Kamron Doyle. Many considered him the favorite here, and he's 0-2. And the best he can do here is play spoiler and knock Jacob Ettinger out of the championship round. If Ettinger wins, we'll have a three-way roll-off between Ettinger, Young, and Uratovich. 3 for 2, single-game roll-off to get to the championship match.
And just based on that balk that Kamron just did right there, you can tell his head is in the match. If he didn't care, it wouldn't have bothered him. He would have just gone up there and thrown the shot. He wants to win.
Pretty impressive right there.
So Doyle up 16, trying to knock Ettinger out of championship round contention. Earlier today, you saw Greg Young defeat Aaron Uratovich, and both of those players are now 2-1. Ettinger, as you see next to his name, is 1-1. He can join those two by defeating Doyle in this best of 2. If he does it, we would have a 3-player roll-off after our final girls match coming up next here live on Extra Frame. Also a difference, as Cameron Doyle noted with Elise Bolton in our opening, that there is a $1,000 scholarship difference between 3rd and 4th place. So Ettinger can cut it back to 6 with a strike. 6th frame, game 1.
Nice first bad shot of the match there. Just grabbed it and ball hooked early. Didn't get the ball. Usually when you grab it and miss left, that's not a good sign.
Not so bad on the house pattern sometimes in league play,
Yeah.
but on these patterns these guys are balling on, that's just not going to work unless the ball goes Brooklyn. It's good cover there, though. Keep himself within shouting distance.
Yeah, on the house pattern, when you miss left, you actually do want to grab it.
Got to get that ball started up through that
Yeah.
puddle of oil.
Doesn't help out much when you're bowling on a flat
No.
pattern. Learning
Which is
that,
why you see such a big difference at the U.S. Open every year. You see these guys that are coming out, that bowl on that flat pattern. Just crept a little high there for Kamron, leaving a 4-pin. But that's why you see the big difference between the guys that do it for a living, you know, Webb or Fagan, all of those guys that are out there, and the guys that are out there the one time, and they're coming directly. A lot of them come directly from their either house tournaments or house leagues, and then they're coming to bowl on 40 feet of flat at the U.S. Open, and you can see the difference. And when you only have to shoot, you know, 2 or 3 spares a game, or 6 spares a night. In a lot of these things, 6 tough spares, you know, in a month or whatever, and then all of a sudden you're shooting at 6 tough spares a game on the U.S. Open. That's what makes the big disparity in scoring pace.
might have been maybe Kamron. He went high flush his last 2 shots, and maybe didn't make a move there, and looked like a pretty good shot, and it just went a little high, 4-pin. I know Brian Voss and Norm Duke, they inch a half or a quarter board every frame, whether the reaction's changing or not. And in this environment, the lanes do change quite a bit quicker because they're only bowling on 1 lane. There's twice as many balls going down that lane because it's not a pair, and there's a lot of heat and humidity, lights, and dust, which, as we saw in Reno, can have a pretty big impact on the playing surface.
And 2 pretty interested observers back there in the frames of Greg Young and Aaron Uratovich, whose hopes of a championship ride on this match is Doyle looking to exert the control that he has to knock out Jacob Ettinger out of a championship round roll-off.
Yeah, they look like mirror images of Kamron last night watching the Uratovich match, biting his nails. And you remember he walked off the set after Uratovich forced the roll-off.
So Doyle 154 now through 7, spare up. He's got a 14-pin advantage over Jacob Ettinger, but Ettinger now steps up in the 8th with a chance to cut into that lead. Key shot here, opening game of the 2-game best of 2. Two games wins. If they split, we'll have a sudden death roll-off.
And one of the things, just to touch on again what you said before, Jason, with regards to, you know, guys like Voss and them, they inch a little bit, half, you know, sometimes a full board. In the 1-lane scenario, you are going to do that a little bit more often. But the one other thing that's going to happen is that's going to put you in the swish zone. And on this kind of a setup, the swish zone is not like it is in a regular center. So, you know, you're almost better off. Maybe the shot goes 4-pin as opposed to coming in a little bit light, you know, leaving that half 10, leaving that swishing 7. You know, Cameron's probably better off waiting until he 4-pins until he moves.
Yeah, and it looked like he definitely did in the 8th because he moved a little bit and the ball didn't catch, and it did hit the swish zone and didn't carry. Which means now you just wait a couple more shots, keep making that same shot, and 2 or 3 frames, you're going to be flush again.
Yep.
But yeah, like a Tommy Jones, if he hits flush, he's automatically moving. Whereas maybe some of the other players with a little less rev rate will stay, you know, in the same spot if they're hitting flush. But Tommy always wants to be in the swish zone because his carry percentage is so good there.
carry the Waller there. Keep his 14-pin advantage going into the bottom of the ninth. Jacob Ettinger with a possible 220. Kamron Doyle can take it off the sheet in the 10th for 234. Big shot to stay in the match here for Jacob.
Stands around are filling up. Spectators in back. Moving in from 42nd Street to Grand Central Terminal. Ettinger drills it.
And he's got that lane figured out. Strikes bear, strikes bear, strikes bear, strikes bear. He just needs to be a little bit more aggressive on that second shot.
Well, that is amazing accomplishment to pull. I mean, we talked about shooting 225 at Grand Central, but a Dutch twin bill in Vanderbilt Hall on one lane.
I think Jacob is, as long as Doyle doesn't strike here, I think he would be just as happy going sheet for 220. First one's big here.
And we need to put Doyle in perspective, the youngest ever to cash in a PBA regional, the youngest ever to cash in a PBA major. A 14-year-old kid made the cut at the United States Open.
61st out of 385 entries. That's just an amazing, amazing accomplishment. There is nothing but a bright future ahead for this guy. I mean, you think about it, if he had won this tournament this weekend, $64,000, and it would have to sit in a fund for about 4 years. Because he is only 14. I mean, he's got a long high school career ahead of him. I'm sure we're going to be hearing quite a bit. So, nope, 9. That's a 2-pin there, but that's enough.
So Doyle will win game 1 over Jacob Ettinger. Ettinger needs this match to jump into a 3-player roll-off to get a shot into the championship round.
Yeah, he's going to have 4 more chances at this title after not winning this year. That might be even the scarier thing.
Yep.
And, you know, we talked about the U.S. Open and cashing in the regional, and those are amazing accomplishments. But leading this tournament at the age of 14 is a pretty big accomplishment as well. It's something nobody's ever done before.
Considering you can bowl the 14 and under, and he decided to bowl the 18 and under portion of it.
And actually he's bowled that this is his 3rd year bowling it, so finished semi-finalist 2 years ago at the age of 12, and then last year round of 8 lost to the eventual champion both years, Zakatori. He's still got a chance to break Zach's record of back-to-back Teen Masters championships. He could conceivably win the next 4.
That's correct.
Final score 223-186.
Final score in game 1. Kamron Doyle defeats Jacob Ettinger 223-186. Game number 2, Ettinger wants to win to force a roll.
All right, so it's pretty simple here. Jacob Ettinger needs to win this game in order to stay alive in the tournament. Kamron Doyle looking pretty locked in right now.
Yeah, he didn't even like that shot very much, and the result ended up being pretty good.
We'll see what kind of adjustment Jacob makes here. Looked like he tried the other ball. Looked like he tried the cyclone on the spare shot there, knowing that, you know, whether he made the spare or not, he was going to lose that match. And the ball hit the left side of the 3-pin, so maybe he found something with that ball. Same kind of look. This is where it gets tough because Kamron Doyle now is on a little bit of a run. He's doesn't have the kind of pressure that Jacob has on him right now. Kamron knows that regardless of whether he wins or loses this match, he's going home. Jacob's got all the pressure on him right now. Kamron looks awfully loose up there, and Jacob's got to find a way to start striking. Double for Kamron. He just looks loose as anything right now. A very quick 22-pin lead. Jacob needs to get going here. He needs to make the right move. Even if he doesn't strike here, just see his ball hit the pocket, see his ball do what he wants it to do.
No bueno. Not looking good right now, guys. It's not the position you want to be in with an angry Kamron Doyle throwing strikes at you and as loose as a goose. And you've got to beat him in order to make it into the roll-off for the final.
Dug himself quite a hole here, Jacob Ettinger has. Kamron Doyle showing no signs of slowing down. Already up 33. Strike here can make it 43. I think he learned that balk from PA.
Is that a timing balk? Does he just get his feet going a little quick and then stops? Or was that a distraction?
For Patrick, a lot of times it's that he just doesn't feel, something doesn't feel right as he's going up. I mean, it looked like the first time it was a distraction. That time that balk was early. So probably exactly what you said, Jason. A little bit of a timing issue. He may not have gotten the ball started when he wanted to.
Rash has 3 categories of balks. He's got a timing balk, a feel balk, and a distraction balk. And that's pretty much the 3 categories that there are. I can't think of any others, can you?
As Mike J. Laneside grabs his water bottle, ironically. Talking about Sean Rash's distraction balks.
That was not intentional. I do not want to get into that kettle of fish.
Of course, there's the psycho balk as well. That's the demon balk.
Yeah.
Some of us have demons. I remember Barry Asher had some issues back when he retired from tour and he couldn't start, and that's just a mental issue, and the story behind that was very interesting. He actually lost a tournament of champions by leaving a solid 8, and he remembered the feel of the ball in his hand when he left that solid 8, and whenever the ball felt like that, he would stop and try to get a little bit of a different feel on his hand before he would go. And this is not looking good right now, gentlemen, for Jacob Ettinger.
Doyle up a game, 223, 186 winner, looking to close out here and avoid a roll-off in the best of 2. If he can sweep 2 games, he wins, and he would be 1-2 along with Ettinger, knocking Ettinger out of a championship round roll-off possibility.
And if you notice Kamron right now, he is in complete free will mode. There's one thing when, because I've been in the position Cameron's been in before. You get into, late in, when we used to have the 24-game match plays, and they still have that in the U.S. Open, you get late into games 22, 23, and you're not going anywhere. You're mired in 17th, 18th place, but you happen to be bowling a guy who's making a run at the show. You happen to be bowling a guy who has a chance. The one thing you don't want to do is, if the guy is going to win, you want the guy to win or lose by himself. You don't want to be the reason he wins or loses. You want the guy to win or lose by himself. And right now, unfortunately, that's exactly what Jacob Ettinger is doing. He's got 3 overs. Throws a good shot there, but he's already down 70 pins. 64 going into the 5th frame here for Kamron Doyle. 64-pin lead.
Well, if you're going to be down 64, it's better to be in the 4th frame than the 8th.
That's very true. There's
But,
still plenty
yeah.
of paper there. But Cameron's ball reaction right now just looks real good.
Yeah, got that one in a little bit.
Around the corner.
Yeah.
Didn't get it around the corner. But even clean here, you can see based on the score, 63-pin lead. Jacob can cut it to 53 with a strike in the 5th.
Oh, he bounces it out. Little fist pump. He said that yesterday. He said somebody might make a 7-10, or because the plexiglass back there to protect the
pin setters back there, right? That's very springy. Just that portion. Much different than the sideboards, though. Fast 8 there from Jacob. Makes this, it's going to keep Kamron's lead at 63 pins. Going to need a lot of help here from Kamron Doyle in the last 5 frames to get back in this match. Catching a little bit of hook spot there. Kamron's last shot flat 10, he might have moved a little bit off of that. Got the ball to check up a little bit sooner. Filling frames right now is the key for Kamron Doyle. Keeps filling frames, going to be very difficult for Jacob to even make this close in the 8th, 9th, and 10th.
Hey, kicks out the 10, does Ettinger. 2 out of the last 3 strikes. Big lead here for Doyle. In control, up a game, and looking to close Ettinger out and knock him out of the championship round in that event. Greg Young and Aaron Juratovic will meet for the boys' championship coming up at 2 Eastern Time.
Okay, so he's had 1 balk in the 3rd step, 1 balk after his 1st step, and that balk was even before he started.
Yeah, that one was just.
Sounds like 3 different balks,
I
like Raj,
think his hand just started perspiring, and before he even put it in the ball, he kind of knew that it wasn't going to feel right. So I guess that would be a feel balk, I guess, in that category, as long as we're categorizing them.
One of the differences about having a venue like this is you actually have to give the weather report. Right now today in New York, it's about 85. The humidity's kind of creeping up today. It was beautiful yesterday. Low humidity today. The humidity's crept up a little bit. You know, they have the air conditioning on in here, but there are spots that it gets a little bit warm, a little bit humid, especially with the doors right there. So these guys are battling the elements as well as the rain.
Nice little trick shot there on the 2-7. He's in complete control of his game right now. And, you know, you don't want to second guess any of the decisions he's made. I mean, the matches that he bowled yesterday were both very close. They could have gone either way. He could be 2-0 right now. 2-0 with his record. But that's the nip and tuck nature of this format.
Yeah, he looks very comfortable out there on this pattern right now. Needs this one. Gotta have it. Still got a heartbeat.
Yeah, he's still got a possible 216. Kamron Doyle on a 225 pace. So if Kamron were to open in one of these last 3 frames, Jacob Ettinger still would have a chance. But he's in a must-strike situation.
Great pitch there.
That's the Kamron Doyle many folks expected to see right out of the gate here at the competition. But a chance to enjoy him here battling Ettinger for 3rd place here at the Teen Masters Grand Championships. Glad you've joined us today live on Extra Frame. Mike J. Laneside with Brian Zyzek, PBA Tour Champion. And the bowling guy is with us as well. Jason Thomas, and Team USA's Elise Bolton is working the sidelines, and I'm sure we'll get an interview with our winner here following this match. Coming up next, live on Extra Frame, we have our final girls matchup and a girls championship preview as the top-seeded Ashley Dunn will take on number 2 seed Haley Rubin coming up next here live on the online bowling channel. And then boys championship, as it looks right now, Young Juradovich for the boys championship at 2, Dunn Rubin for the girls championship at 3:30, and then we'll have a boy versus girl matchup for a $64,000 college scholarship, 7 Eastern Grand Championship here at the Teen Masters. PBA and Teen Masters very proud to hook up. Killer Bee Promotions' Gary Beck for the 2nd straight year here at Grand Central Terminal. And a great youth bowling event. I'd say the greatest youth bowling event there is, with the greatest conclusion here in Midtown Manhattan here at Vanderbilt Hall. Doyle up 9th frame. Big game going here, 165, and didn't get the double.
That is enough to close out this match. 177 possible for Ettinger. Doyle right now already has 193, even if he were to miss this. So your 3rd place Teen Masters is going to go to Kamron Doyle, with Jacob Ettinger finishing 4th. And our championship match is set, as Mike J. just explained to you. Now, the difference in the championship matches, those are best of 3 games. There is no roll-off after 2 games if they're tied 1-1. It is 3 best of 3. So the first to win 2 full games will win those championships and go on to the Grand Championships later this evening.
It's a great performance by Ettinger to make it to New York City in a 4th place finish in a national tournament with scholarship money on the line. Certainly will be memorable, and very good to meet Jacob Ettinger.
And get used to seeing this kid's name, people. It's going to be around for quite a while. Oh,
A messenger.
A messenger. And I was actually a little disappointed since he had mentioned he
Yeah.
thought he could make the 7-10. I was actually disappointed there. I was kind of hoping he'd leave the 10 there, give us a chance
give
to
it a
see
yeah.
it. He already bounced one out.
Was pretty close.
So 223 in the first game and 224 with a fill here. Kamron Doyle, third place finish at the Teen Masters Grand Championships. And once again, the championship match is set. Greg Young will face Aaron Uratovich at 2 o'clock Eastern for the boys' championship. Nice round of applause for Kamron Doyle. 219 winner and a 2-0 sweep over Jacob Ettinger. Both players now even at 1 and 2. Doyle finishes third. Ettinger finishes fourth in the Grand Championships.
And we don't have to worry about the same story in the Olympics about tanking matches and stuff like that.
The badminton team.
I never thought I'd hear badminton and controversy in the same sentence, but now that is off my bucket list.
As Tony Kornheiser said about bowling, a good old-fashioned badminton controversy.
Congratulations.